Imagine waking up one morning to find that the world's coastlines have been redrawn overnight. This isn't a scene from a science fiction movie. It is a potential future we are facing right now. Deep in the southernmost part of our planet, a giant is awakening. The Great Antarctic Ice Sheet, a frozen expanse larger than the United States and Mexico combined, is melting at a pace that has scientists deeply concerned. This isn't a slow, distant problem anymore. It's happening faster than we ever thought possible. To really understand the risk, we need to look at the science. It's simpler than you might think. Antarctica is covered by two massive ice sheets, East Antarctic Ice Sheet and West Antarctic Ice Sheet. For a long time, scientists were most worried about the West Antarctic Ice Sheet because much of it rests on a seabed that is below sea level. This makes it incredibly vulnerable to warming ocean waters. Imagine warm water nibbling away at the base of the ice from underneath. That is exactly what is happening. Recent studies, including those reported by outlets like DW, confirm warming ocean currents are melting these crucial ice shelves from below. This weakens them and speeds up their collapse. This process creates a dangerous feedback loop. As the ice shelves thin, they lose their ability to hold back the massive glaciers behind them. It can be easy to think of Antarctica as a remote, empty continent that has little to do with our everyday lives. But that could not be further from the truth. The melting of its ice is a global event with local consequences for every single one of us. The most direct and immediate impact is sea level rise. This means a melting glacier in Antarctica can directly lead to flooding in a coastal town in Florida, a river delta in Bangladesh, or a Pacific island nation. Scientists estimate that the West Antarctic Ice Sheet alone contains enough ice to raise global sea levels by about 10 feet. That may not sound like a lot, but it would be catastrophic. A rise of just a few feet would be enough to inundate major coastal cities, displacing hundreds of millions of people and causing trillions of dollars in damage. We're talking about losing airports, seaports, homes, and entire economies that are built along our coastlines. The impacts of Antarctic ice loss go far beyond just rising sea levels. The continent plays a critical role in regulating our planet's weather patterns. Think of Antarctica as the Earth's refrigerator. Its vast white ice sheet reflects a huge amount of sunlight back into space, which helps to keep the entire planet cool. This is known as the albedo effect. As the ice melts and is replaced by darker ocean water, less sunlight is reflected, more heat is absorbed. This change also disrupts global ocean currents. The melting of fresh water from the ice sheets into the salty ocean can alter the density of the water. This might sound like a small detail, but it has huge consequences. Ocean currents act like a global circulatory system, transporting heat around the planet and influencing weather patterns everywhere. A slowdown or change in these currents could lead to dramatic shifts in climate. Some regions could experience more extreme heat waves. Some regions could experience droughts. Others could face more intense rainfall. Others could face stronger storms. The predictable weather patterns that we rely on for farming and daily life could become a thing of the past. Let's move away from the abstract science and talk about the real-world consequences for people, for communities, for all of us. For the nearly 40% of the world's population that lives within 60 miles of a coast, the danger is existential. Island nations in the Pacific, Kiribati, Tuvalu. These are not just places. They are ancient cultures, homelands, histories that are at risk of being completely erased by the rising ocean. The impact on our global food supply cannot be overstated. Low-lying river deltas, Nile Egypt, Mekong Southeast Asia. These areas are incredibly vulnerable to sea level rise and to saltwater intrusion. As these fertile lands become unusable, it will put immense pressure on global food production. This could lead to food shortages, soaring prices, and widespread instability. Competition for dwindling resources like fresh water and arable land could become a major source of conflict, all tracing back to the stability of a distant ice sheet. The economic turmoil would be unlike anything we have ever seen. The cost of protecting our coastal cities is astronomical. Seawalls, flood barriers. Estimates to protect a city like New York run into the tens of billions of dollars. Now multiply that by every major coastal city around the globe. Where will this money come from? Many developing nations simply do not have the resources to adapt, leaving their populations incredibly exposed. Hearing all of this can feel overwhelming, even hopeless. But it is crucial to understand we are not powerless. The future is not yet written, and there are concrete actions we can take right now. The most important solution, per scientific consensus, is to rapidly and drastically reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We must transition away from burning fossil fuels, coal, oil, gas, and move toward clean, renewable energy sources, solar, wind, geothermal power. Governments and world leaders have a critical role to play. They need strong policies to accelerate the energy transition, put a price on carbon pollution, end subsidies for the fossil fuel industry, invest heavily in green infrastructure and technology. But this isn't just up to governments. Companies can adopt sustainable practices and invest in clean energy. As consumers, we can make choices that reduce our own carbon footprint. Use public transportation, eat less meat, reduce energy consumption at home, support businesses committed to sustainability. Every small action, when multiplied by millions, can create a powerful wave of change. We can use our voices to demand action from our elected officials and the companies we buy from. We stand at a crossroads. The path we are currently on leads to a future of rising seas, extreme weather, widespread disruption. The scientific evidence from Antarctica is not a prediction. It is an observation of what is already happening. If we continue with business as usual, we are choosing to lock in a future that is far more dangerous and unstable for our children and grandchildren. The stakes could not be higher. We are talking about the potential loss of entire nations, the displacement of hundreds of millions of people, and the destabilization of the global systems that support human civilization. This is not hyperbole. It is the sober assessment of the world's leading climate scientists. The fate of our coastal cities, our food and water security, and our global economy are all tied to the fate of the ice at the bottom of the world. To ignore these warnings is to gamble with our collective future, and it is a bet that we cannot afford to lose. The time for incremental change has passed. We need bold, transformative action, and we need it now. But there is still hope. The worst impacts are not yet inevitable. We have the technology, we have the knowledge, and we have the capacity to build a cleaner, more sustainable world. What we need now is the collective will to do so. This is the challenge of our generation. This is a defining moment for humanity. Will we be the generation that watched idly as our planet's climate system unraveled? Or will we be the one that rose to the occasion and secured a safe and livable future? The choice is ours. We want to hear what you think. What are your biggest concerns about this? What solutions do you think are most promising? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice is an important part of this conversation. Thank you so much for watching and for taking the time to understand this critical issue. If you found this report informative, please give it a like, share it with your friends and family, and be sure to subscribe for more updates on the stories that shape our world.